Hey everybody, it's Peter, and in this video I'm going to review the 2023 Honda CR-V, but we're going to do the base model. And this is not a video I was expecting to do, but you showed a lot of interest in the sport model of the 2023 CR-V that we did. So we're going to bring back the base model, and I'm going to be honest, I like reviewing base models, mostly because nobody reviews them in review channels, and the average modern day base model has a whole lot of features that even just a few years ago weren't standard on top trims. So base models are worth considering. In this video, I'm going to go through this vehicle in detail to make sure I show you a lot of things that the other videos aren't showing you, but I also want to thank Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals for giving me complete access to their vehicle lineup so that if you have questions, I can come back to this vehicle and this line of vehicles and try to answer your questions again and again, both in the comment section and in future videos. So let's get going with this review. So there's a few things that I want to address about the base model. First thing, it is a front wheel drive model. It's not an all-wheel drive. And I do think that a lot of people say that they want a CR-V for all-wheel drive, and I think that makes sense. Most people get the all-wheel drive model. I will say though that sometimes people feel kind of confused, like, oh, it's front wheel drive, not realizing that most all-wheel drive sedans that have come out severely underperform SUVs. And I think the reality is that most of us find that this body style works and we like having all-wheel drive. But the front-wheel drive does a couple things for you. First of all, it's the same engine in here as in the other trim lines, but you do have a lighter weight vehicle with a less complex drivetrain, and that means you have a little bit better fuel efficiency. So there's a reason to get front-wheel drive here. And again, if you want the all-wheel drive, this probably isn't the car for you. But this may allow you to move into a CR-V at a better price point, get all of the benefits of a CR-V, and you just happen to not have all-wheel drive. Now, when we talk about some of these things that this base model has that you may not expect, let's kind of come around the front here. First of all, I haven't got the lights on right now, but they are LED headlights here. Again, cars from not a few years ago, even top-line cars didn't always have those. The real surprise, though, is some of the features that you have out front here. This Honda logo is not just a Honda logo. This is a radar plate underneath here. That gives you things like advanced cruise control, a more advanced autonomous emergency braking system. There's a bunch of things that you have in here, and Honda does this really well. A lot of other manufacturers put a sort of square looking plate down low in the vehicle where if you're driving through slushy roads, that can get covered and you lose some of those safety functionality things. Here, being up higher, it not only is more functional because it stays away from some of that slush, it's also better looking because it's behind a logo, and that's not the only forward sensing technology on this car. There's a little camera right behind the mirror there. We won't show it to you here, but I'll sort of show you that area when we get inside the car. That camera also looks forward. It does things like lane keeping assist, so this car is able to help you stay in the lane and see the lane marker for you. So Honda's Safety Sense technology makes their way into this model, and again, some of these features were not on the highest level Hondas from just a couple years ago, which means this base model is nowhere near a base model for most people. Let's go to the back end now and look at a couple features there, and we'll work our way through into the driver's environment. So while the CR-V is completely new for 2023, it's an all new platform, all new from the ground up, you still see some of that familiar CR-V language or styling language back here. Although from the side, I think it looks less like a CR-V than in the past. It is larger in a few dimensions, but not so large that it's harder to drive. One of the things I like, again, even though this is the base model here, you'll see when I open the doors, you can see the lighting here. It comes on very nicely, and you have nice looking brake lights. Those are LED lights on the back. And you used to only have LED lights on the higher trims. Now you have it here on the base model as well. Moving up here, this is not a powered operated tailgate, but you can see 2 fingers. It's super simple to do. And I'm about 6 feet tall. It easily clears me. And then you have a very good sized trunk here. A couple nice features in here. There's a little bit of a grocery hook, a 12-volt port, and you have LED lights on both sides, which I like. The other nice feature here is you have a spare tire down here, a fairly large spare tire. Somebody asked me if you could fit a full-size spare. I think you could if this is not, but it looks, larger than a typical small donut. And the way it's set in is you have space inside the spare tire to use as underfloor storage. Now, the other thing you can do with the underfloor is you can drop this down just a couple inches, not a whole lot. So it was level here at the back end. Now you can drop it down. That gives you a little bit more space again. And let's show you the seats as we go up close. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go around to the passenger side of the car, and I am going to bring this seat to the furthest forward position. Obviously they do fold down like this, and it's level when they fold, but there is that step up that you see right there. Now this is the furthest forward position on the right-hand side. What that does is it allows you to put a square box in because it's a very upright. It's not comfortable for a passenger to sit there. Now, you also have the ability to recline these seats as well. So we're going to put this in the full back position. I'm going to leave the seat on the right side where it is in the upright position. It won't be comfortable to seat. But what you can see here is when we get in, you know, there's probably over a foot of space between this line here and this line there, which means you can create extra cargo space when you need it, and you can create extra comfort in the rear seat when you need it as well. And that makes this vehicle really great for road trips because you can kind of adjust that seating position even in the rear seat and be really comfortable. So a couple of those things we're going to show you. Let me just zip to the side. I already mentioned them, but let me just show you them right now. All right, you're going to see this little green spot right there. That's the camera lens interacting with that bright white LED light. Might look a little bit yellow to you on screen here, but it is nice and white. This is something I really appreciate. A lot of cars have these and people don't realize what they are. This is just a little bit of a grocery hook. If you have a, you know, a grocery bag of, say, apples or something like that, you don't want them rolling around your entire trunk, you can just hook that up here and keep them there. And of course, that 12-volt port there as well. Nice little features that come standard even in this base model. So now we're really going to get into some of the things that the other videos aren't showing you. First of all, on a base model vehicle, you have some advantages in these tires. So a lot of the higher trim models are going to have a larger diameter rim. So that's a larger diameter rim, which means a smaller sidewall. First of all, these tires are going to be less expensive to buy and replace than the larger rim tires. Some people say the larger rims look nicer, but the other thing is having a little bit more sidewall can contribute to a little smoother ride. Maybe a slight difference in handling, but it's a CR-V, you're not taking it to the racetrack. You'll probably never know the difference in handling because that tire wall flex is good for ride, bad for a sports car handling, but again, not a sports car. So tires are probably actually a good thing for most of you buying this vehicle, especially given your intended use. The other thing is you benefit from some of the design features that are, you know, in higher end vehicles. So these doors have a plastic area here, which is good because all the paint chipping that happens on the bottom of cars happens right around here because you're shooting up gravel and sharp areas. This is all plastic, not paint. This won't chip. And the door wraps around. As I open the door here, you can kind of see that that piece wraps around and all of this will stay clean. That means when you're getting out of a little bit taller vehicle, when you rub your pant leg against here, this is not dirty, this is clean. You don't have a dirty pant leg when you go to work. The other thing we should show you here, I'll just come back and see the view through the camera. These doors are very, very large and they open 90 degrees. Let's talk about that as I jump in the back seat. So let's talk about these doors opening 90 degrees. I've done car reviews for quite a long time now and I've yet to see a vehicle with doors that open 90 degrees. Now, first of all, you can see the advantage of that. If you had child seats in here, it's just nice to be able to work and carry things out and move things easier. But even if you don't have child seats, just the extra ability to get cargo in here, to get people in here, people with mobility issues, they can easily get in here because you've got that extra space. Now, of course, if you're tighter for space, you can always open them a little bit less narrow. They have detents along the way. But this is really rare and it makes a big difference. It's something that doesn't show up on video, but does show up in your everyday life to make it easy to get in and out. So I can film from this angle straight on with me jumping in here. I'll just keep checking my watch because that's my viewfinder, but I can film from this angle because that door opens 90 degrees. Now remember, I set that door back. Well, I am laying back here, and even laying back, I have tons of headroom. That's one thing you don't get in a lot of sedans or other vehicles that maybe this front-wheel drive car is competing with. What's cool about when you recline these seats, and I put it in a comfortable position now, is it's not just the back that reclines, the hip point actually moves down. When you move it forward, it moves it up. When you move it down, it goes, when you move it back, the hip point goes down. What that means is that my legs are still flush on the seat and they continue to recline the seat, making this a great vehicle for road trips because even at 6 feet tall, I'm comfortable. And again, I'm sitting behind where I would have the seat for myself. I'm about 6 feet tall. I've got immense legroom here. I've got fantastic headroom here, and my legs are on the seat. This is as comfortable as it gets in just about any vehicle right here, and you gotta give the Honda really good scores for seats overall. We're gonna jump in the driver's seat next, but all of the seats in this car are very, very comfortable. Back here, even the base model, you do have some vents back here. Obviously the door pockets in the, water bottle holders in the door. There is an armrest here with 2 more cup holders in here. So a lot of cars, they kind of scrimp on things back here. The only thing you don't have is a pocket on both sides, which to be fair, on the sport model, it didn't have a pocket on the driver's side, only on the passenger side. So pretty good back here and excellent for a base model. Let's jump in the front seat now. So we're about to jump into the driver's seat. I just opened the door. You can see the driving lights, LED lights up there, and the headlights are down there. They look like they're flickering on camera, or they did look like they were flickering on camera, and that's just because the way they interact with the camera. But the point is, it's not just basic lights up here. You have those nice driving lights as well, daytime running lights. Excuse me, I'm pulling up my sleeve. Sorry about that. All right, so let's take a look at this vehicle from the driver's perspective, and to do that, you're going to need the key to get inside. Now, there is a little bit of misleadingness on this key. You have lock, you have unlock, you have hold, which is the remote start, and there's a trunk button. That will not pop the trunk on this car because it's not a powered trunk, although I believe it does unlock the trunk. However, you really don't need to pull this fairly nice looking key out of your pocket, which is where I'm going to put it right now, because as you approach the vehicle, you have little detents there that you can touch there to unlock the door. Very simple, which again, not very base model like. When you have a key like this, you also have a keyless start, which is a push button start. Now we saw in the higher trim levels, you can get a powered seat. This one does not have powered seat, but it has plenty of adjustment with lots of little levers and everything else. And again, seating comfort is very good in here. So we're gonna go to the wide angle camera here, kind of skew things out a little bit. Why don't we just take a quick look at the controls here. Nice looking controls, the auto driver's window there. Let's look into the dash now, because this actually surprised me a little bit. So jumping in here, look at that. That is a screen there. You can see it on camera more than I can see in person. It kind of looks just regularly black there as well. We're gonna turn the car to the on position, but not start it. And I do have to fasten my seatbelt just to get rid of some of the area here. But what's pretty cool about this is, whoops, I hit my camera mount there. What's pretty cool about this is, first of all, so you can see my green area there that shows me my seatbelt is done up in the driver's seat. If it senses a passenger and it's red, let me just zoom in a little further. If it senses a passenger and it's red, it will tell you that, hey, that person is not buckled up. So of course I am buckled, so we're all good to go. We're gonna dismiss that. What's cool about this though is this is a display screen, and like I said, the camera picks up the screen better than my eyes do. Again, cameras don't film screens all that great, so they don't film true to life. Oh, we're having trouble focusing there. Let's see if we can get that a little better. All right, so what you have in here is the left side, including the tachometer, is a screen, and the right side is actually a physical speedometer, which I kind of like. I think you don't need the full screen, so you probably save some money, but you get the same functionality here. There's a number of controls and things in the screen here that we could show you, but we're going to show you that a little bit later. I want to go through some of the other features that you really don't expect in a car like this. So first of all, screens are in just about everything, but this is again leading to the fact that not every base model is exactly what you would assume anymore. Now again, the flickering that you see on camera is the camera interacting with this screen. It does not flicker at all in real life, but this is a nice quality screen here. Let's put it in reverse for a second. Now, you don't have any better camera than this in the Honda CR-V. Some cars are going to come with 360 cameras. This base model has the same cameras you would use in the higher end view. You do get some variety of views here. And again, I'm filming a screen. It does not film well. It's much clearer in person. But you can see that you have a wide angle view there. I can see all the way left and right. You can even see like the license plate area there. But you get a very wide angle view. You go back to the standard view, and then you get the top down view here as well. If you were to tow a trailer, I believe you can still tow a very light utility trailer. I think around 1,500 pounds. I didn't check if the front wheel drive version can tow that 1,500 pounds, but the regular CR-V can. So I believe this is the same for that as well. So that's just putting it in reverse, showing you the backup camera. Over here, like I said, clear screen. Now you have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay in here. It is wired on this trim line. I believe it's wireless in the highest trim lines, but again, you still have it. So that means your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, your phone apps can come to the phone. That also gives you navigation through things like Google Maps, Apple Maps. Really good screen in there. Coming down here, let's just go wide angle. We'll stay tight. Again, having a little bit of trouble getting the focus here. Let me see if I can adapt that a little bit. There we go. You can see you have a dual zone climate control system here. Now that doesn't happen in many cars, even at higher trim levels, and here you are at the entry level trim having that, and you have heated seats. Now, of course, we're filming in Canada. I know some Americans may have different trim lines. Heated seats are a little bit less popular in the American cars in some manufacturers than in Canada, but heated seats here, dual zone temperature control, which means the driver and the passenger can have different temperatures set for them, which is kind of handy. And then we'll come down here at the bottom here, and oh boy, my camera's not auto-focusing right now, but there we go. So you have a USB-A, USB-C port, and a 12-volt port to make sure you got all the plugs you need. And this is a very usable space in here, and you can see it's lighted. It's got an LED light down there, so you've got good visibility of everything you have in there, which is very good. Couple other little things, drive modes, not always on the base models. You have them here. We're going to cycle through there. Oh, let's just show you up on the screen. That's a little bit better. I didn't like that I switched that. It made a funny noise. All right, trying to get in here. There we go. Let's just mess with it again. All right, normal is where we are right now. Nice display, nice screen there. Again, doesn't film as nice as it is in real life. Let's just see if we can get it to focus. It is having trouble on that screen. Coming down here, we've got the economy mode and we've got the snow mode. Now, economy mode, let's just talk really briefly about that. This is the most economical version. It's a lighter weight version. It is front wheel drive. Economy mode does not automatically get you better economy. What it does is if you're driving efficiently anyways, it moves the shift points and it'll adjust the throttle usually to allow the car to work with you to get great fuel efficiency. And this car is capable of very good fuel efficiency. A couple other little things I like, which is becoming more and more standard on everything. You have your auto headlights here. Hondas especially used to have light up dashes in there that used to they used to kind of tell you that your hint like maybe your headlights were on. So now you've got the auto headlights in everything. Looking over here, let's just try to get this focus. My autofocus is not working with me today. Let's just zoom right in there. There we go. So right in there, you can see you have a windshield wiper defroster area. So where your windshield wipers sit on the front of this car, you have a little like heated grid, a lot like the rear window. And what that does is it allows you to not have the wipers frozen to the windshield, which is really nice. Speaking of looking out the windshield, let's talk about a couple things there. We've got this, remember I said there's a camera looking out front? This is where it's mounted, it looks out front. Between that and the radar plate, you have things like what you see right here, which is an advanced cruise control, so a smart cruise control as well as a lane keeping assist. This is all part of that safety sense because you've got sensors looking forward, you have that here. One thing I don't have here is I don't have a leather trim steering wheel, which means it's not a heated steering wheel. This actually feels perfectly fine, but if you got in this car, that's one hint that maybe this isn't a higher end trim than it actually is. Coming back over here, we showed you the drive modes. Let's just come down a few other things here. You've got the auto stop start, which most people hate, but in theory, it does help you with efficiency. It can turn itself off at a stoplight or something like that, and you can cancel that if you wanted to. You also have hill descent control, something that's not needed in a non-off-road vehicle, but if you're camping, you can hit this button and it can hold a slow speed descent without having to touch your brakes. It's kind of cool how that works. Automatic transmission here, easy to use. You've got cup holders in here, and compared to the Sport model, you still have the same glove box, but you miss that tray that comes across here. So you have to make a deal with your salesperson to take that out of a higher trim level if that's what you really want. Over here, you've got a couple nice things here. The grate here, again, same as the higher trim levels. It gives the illusion that this entire thing is a vent. On the Hyundai Tucson, it actually can be a vent, but on this Honda CR-V, you've got the vents here, the vents there, and then just the consistent look across there. But I will say, this is all nice stuff. This is a softer rubber, it's not a hard plastic. Shutting the doors, feeling things, all of that feels like a much higher end trim, and that's a good thing. Now let's take a look at me for 1 second before we wrap up inside. So taking a look at me in the driver's seat, again, I'm 6 feet tall. I have immense headroom. Now, if you are shorter and you want to raise the seat, not a problem. You can do that. The sills are a little bit high, so you're going to want to raise the seat if you're a little bit shorter. But, I think that's part of safety. It's part of styling. It's fine. It's not like you're super buried in this car or anything like that. But yeah, visibility is very good forward especially, and pretty good back as well. Some SUVs are better than others. This one's mid-pack, certainly not bad. But yeah, driver's comfort is fantastic. These seats are very comfortable. You could definitely drive this for a long time. And with having these sort of lane keeping type functions, Honda safety sense type functions, this is a very, very easy car to drive a long distance. And it's very comfortable to do that. And again, the dual zone climate control is just one of those little things you don't see in base models. You can keep your passengers comfortable, separate than you. So great road trip vehicle. So let's talk about who this car is for. Well, first of all, if your crossover has to have all-wheel drive, this doesn't have it in this trim line, and therefore it's not for you. It does have, though, a lot of safety features. If you're looking for a safe car, this has that. It has not just good crash performance, I'm sure it has that, but a good crash avoidance things, and that's a big piece of modern day safety. Visibility is good, comfort is excellent, you can go on a road trip without any issues. I really like that it has the dual zone climate control, and then rear seat stuff as well. If you're taking rear seat passengers, for a compact crossover, this has grown a little tiny bit. Like I said, just a few inches, not enough to change the way it drives or parks, but enough to give you that extra little bit of space in the back. Those 90-degree doors, not something that shows up great on video, but opening those rear doors 90 degrees really allows you to get stuff in and out of the back seat. It's got a big trunk. It's known for Honda reliability. It's just a very, very good car and not at all a base level car compared to what base level cars used to be. If I was to knock it, Honda continues to feel that this is a upper priced vehicle. Now on the base model, I don't really have a problem with that because although it's a base model with front wheel drive, they've equipped it with enough safety equipment, enough luxury features that I don't mind it. But the nice thing about being here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals is virtually all of this the competitors to this car are right next to it. You can compare the Nissan Rogue, you can compare the Hyundai, Kia, all those kinds of things. Everything you want to compare is pretty much right next to it. Mazda as well. So you've got the option to see which one you like better. And this base model really impressed me. So let me know what you want to know. Do you want to know more about this Honda CR-V, the 2023 model? Is there something that you want me to show you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have a 2023, let me know what you love about it. And again, I'll try to answer your questions in the comments below, and I'll also make future videos. Thanks everybody for watching.